Alright, this is going to be the Newton's second law of motion video. So, number one, 3b Newton's second law of motion. So, two forces F1 and F2 are applied to a block on a frictionless surface. So, what is the magnitude that of the block's acceleration? If the magnitude of the block's acceleration is 2 meters per second, what is the mass of the block? So, we know that to find acceleration when we use this formula. Well, F net is your sum of all sum of all forces. All right, and so if you have F1 is negative 12, it's negative because it's going the opposite direction. And F2 is uh 2 2 newtons. 2 newtons. All right. And so, well, if you add up all these forces, negative 12 plus 2, you're going to get negative 10 newtons. Negative 10 newtons. All right. Now, what is the mass of the block? What is the mass of the block? So now we substitute in this formula. We know that mass, well, we know that acceleration is 2. It's saying that the magnitude of the block's acceleration is 2 meters per second. Well, we know that the acceleration is going to the left, so we're going to call that negative 2. We're going to call that negative 2. So now we have A. We're going to write out our formula. So negative 10 is equal to m negative 2. So 5 kg is equal to m. All right. And the answer is B. The answer is B, 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 B. Number 2. At a certain location, a gravitational force with a magnitude of 350 newtons acts on a 70-kilogram astronaut. So you know your force due to gravity is 350 newtons. And you know the mass of the astronaut is 70 kg. So what is the magnitude of the gravitational field strength? We know that G is my gravitational field strength. So we just set up our formula. We know that F net is equal to ma, which also means, well, the only force acting on this object is Fg. All right, so you're gonna get 350 is equal to 70 G. Divide 70 on both sides, and then you get 5 K, well, not 5 kg. 5 meters per second squared. That's acceleration. The units can also be written as n over kg because that's F net over m. So the answer is 5 m meters per second squared, or n over kg. All right. Number 3. Again, a force, an unbalanced force. If you have a force, you apply an acceleration. If I have a force, if I apply a force and apply, I think it's very important to clarify. It's very important to clarify. If I apply a force, the if I apply a force on an object, that object experiences an acceleration. All right. Now, well, there's an unbalanced force here, right? There's 120 to one side, 100 to the other side, and so your F net is going to be negative 20. Why is it negative 20? Well, because you have negative 120. It's going to the left. And you have 100 going to the right. So when you add both of these, you're going to get negative 20. And if you have a negative 20 here, you know something's going to the left. And because if you apply a force, you apply an acceleration. So you're accelerating. Accelerating to, we're just going to write to the left here. In hindsight, I don't really have a lot of space, so just trying to improvise here. Number 4. 40 kilogram object is accelerated at 3 meters per second north by an unbalanced force. The same unbalanced force acting on a 2 kilogram object will accelerate this object toward the north at what? Well, you want to find out what that unbalanced force is, right? You're given one, so m1 is equal to 4 kg, all right? And your acceleration is 3 meters per second squared. So what is your force? What is your net? What is your unbalanced force? All right. And so this unbalanced force is going to be 4 times 3, and you get 12 newtons. So the same unbalanced force acting on a 2 kilogram object will accelerate this object toward the north at what? All right, so you're going to set up your equation again. M2, A2, right? That's the second object, so 12 newtons. The mass of the second object is 2. And we want to find out what the acceleration is. So you divide both, you're going to get 6 meters per second squared. And that's your acceleration. So the answer is B. 5. Well, now you have two masses, right? You have two masses. So what you're going to do is you're going to add up both of those masses first, right? We set up this formula. We know our force is 12 newtons, and we know our total mass is 3 kg. And we want to find out, well, what is our acceleration? Well, now we just plug it in. F net MA, and then you get 12, and then you get 3A, and then you divide it by 3. Then you get 4 meters per second squared, and the answer is going to be D. That's Newton's second law.